Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Wow, thank you. We'll give it another minute or so for the fever line to go down, and then we'll start, okay? So another minute or so, and then we will get started. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, nice, the sound. That'll incentivize people to come earlier. Some nice seats right in the front for you. Right in the front. Hi, Kristen. There's a chair right here available. We'll give it another minute. There are some seats available, one specifically in the front, next to Kristen. Okay. Mr. Shin, are the other classes logged in? They're logged in? Okay. Okay, guys, put away your phones. Put away your phone. Put away your phones. Put away your computers. Put away your homework.
Look down.
Oh, it's not homework. Okay. Okay. Good morning, BIA. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a really wonderful weekend and the nice weather. We're in December now. We're nearing closer and closer to our winter break and the end of the second quarter. So, not to add pressure, but now is a good time to look at your grades, talk to your teachers, try to, make sure that you end this calendar year on a really good footing. So just keep that in mind, okay, as you move forward. So today, actually, we have our guest speaker, and then I have a lot of important announcements to make. So I would really need everyone's attention, okay? But first, before the announcements, we're going to welcome our guest speaker who's going to talk about friendship, Miss Shapiro. Give her a hand.
Hello, guys. How are you guys doing this morning? Pretty okay? Still waking up? Okay. Well, so honestly, right, in about August, we all normally pick our topics for morning assembly. And when I picked my topic, I picked friendship. I had no clue what I was going to talk about. Generally speaking, I didn't know my point, but I knew the one thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was a very special friendship in my life. And her name is Ray. She's my best friend since about 6th grade. And I knew that it was something important to talk about, right? And so then when I talked to Mrs. Keiss about what you guys have been talking about character ed, we talked a lot about how you guys have been discussing making new friends. You guys have discussed toxic friendships, right, and letting those go and what those look like. But you guys haven't really talked about maintaining friendships. And at the end of the day, that's kind of the thing that has allowed my friendship with Ray to continue throughout the years. So first, let me introduce you to her. Mr. Shin, if you could go to the next slide. So this is Ray, otherwise known as Rachel. Okay, so some info on her. She's a pharmacist. She has 2 cats and a dog. She lives in Pennsylvania. She'd be very upset if I did not tell you all that she was a Gemini. Okay, and she's been my best friend for 16 years. Okay, now that might not mean a lot, but to give context to it, right, one of the things that we tend to tell each other is that we've been friends at this point longer than we haven't been. A majority of our life, we've known each other, right? And so at the end of the day, once again, she's the longest friendship that I've ever had in my life. Our friendship has gone through braces, parents divorcing, depression, several cross-state line moves, chronic illness, cancer, gap year programs where we can't talk to one another, prom, breakups, proposal, marching band, and multiple fights between the 2 of us. And some of the biggest things in that list that I just told you happened when we lived over 100 miles apart from one another, right? But we're still friends. She's the one person who knows every single side of myself, okay? And I'm going to embarrass myself here by saying she knows the sides of Lily where I used to wear vests to school with ties, and I used to wear mismatching knee-high socks, okay? Not a good look, okay? But she knows that person, and she loves me anyway, okay? And that kind of friendship is important because you're going to get to a point in your life, right, where you meet new people. And you'll always have to constantly explain who you are by explaining your past, okay, to give them a good idea of who you are. But when you have these kinds of friendships that last years and years and years, they're the one person that you don't have to explain yourself to because they're part and intertwined in your life. And so to give you a full picture of what I'm trying to explain, it's best to explain our timeline of how we became friends. So Mr. Shin, can you go to the next slide? So here's a little timeline along with another embarrassing photo, okay? But Ray and I met in Mr. Karpinski's flute class in 5th grade, okay? We walked down the hallway. She told me all about her overbite and her orthodontia dentist issues, okay? It's kind of a hard conversation to forget. She regaled me on all that kind of information, and honestly, we then went our separate ways. Okay, and then throughout that 5th grade year, we would see each other here and there. Our teachers were best friends. We'd be in each other's classes. We were in the play Aladdin together, and then the school year ended. I was best friends with a girl named Maria Spurl. I didn't think about Ray throughout the summer. She honestly had no consequence on my life, right? But then 6th year rolled around. Maria Spurl became friends with Virginia Seawald, and they were catty and they were mean, and I was in desperate need of new friends. So that led me to becoming friends with the drama crew. Okay, we were a bunch of drama nerds. We loved theater. We had our own table together at lunch. Okay, it was a very big deal, right? But at this point, it's also important to tell you that Ray and I had another friend named Inez, right? We were inseparable. That's a picture of us. We all played the flute. We all loved Harry Potter. We were all sopranos in chorus, okay? We were all alike. We were pretty much identical copies of one another. And you couldn't find one of us without finding the other two, right? And honestly, at that point in life, in 6th grade, everything was great, right? But if you had asked me which friendship would last the lifetime, which friendship when I'm 30 do I think I would still have, I would have told you Inez, right? If Ray and I were close, Inez and I were attached at the hip. Okay, our moms were friends. We were, if anyone saw us from the outside, they knew that Inez and I were the closer two, okay? But, spoiler alert, this isn't about Inez, okay? We're gonna get into why that is, okay? So, 6th grade was great. If we didn't see each other at school, which we always did because we were in the same classes, we would see each other after school. When we didn't see each other after school, we would spend like 3 hours on the phone, okay? We would see each other during holidays, anytime you name it, we were together. But towards the end of 6th grade, I actually found out that I was moving about an hour and a half away. It was a really big deal at the time, okay? And it was the first move and then many moves within the friendship. Keep in mind, okay, that this friendship that we had lasted about 9 months in the reality of it all, right? So if you start to do the math, okay, you'll realize that the majority of our friendship has actually been long distance. I did the math last night, okay, so we had about 9 months of best friendship in person, okay, and the next 6 years of our middle school and high school experience, we were apart, right? Another thing to keep in mind, this was early 2000s, so Snapchat wasn't a thing, TikTok wasn't a thing, Instagram wasn't a thing. You had to text by the like small flip phones where you had to click the button several times. You also had to pay by letter, okay? So it wasn't easy to communicate, okay? So what we did have when we moved apart was AOL, the first form of instant messenger, okay? I know I'm dating myself here, but if you also know the term AIM, okay, that's what it is, okay? So during that time, during those next 6 years, we used every opportunity that we had to see each other. We would, like I said, AIM or instant message. We would call each other every single day, okay? Sometimes we hogged up the phone and so nobody else could use it majority of the day. And then we would spend things like, we would go to musical theater shows, okay? Ray came to my prom. I would go to her school for shadow days, okay? We would go to each other's high school plays every single time. Every single holiday, we'd try to see each other, okay? So a majority of our life was always figuring out when the next time we would see each other would be. And coordinating 3 schedules and 3 sets of parents an hour and a half away from each other wasn't a joke. Mr. Shin, next slide. Right? And so I think what obviously you might be asking yourself is, why am I telling you all this? Why does it matter? Why am I telling you this on a Monday morning, okay? But at the end of the day, right, my friendship with Ray is one that has lasted 16 years, right? That means our friendship has been, once again, long distance for about 14 of those. And right now, you're at a time in your life where you see your friends every day in school, okay? If you're not seeing your friends every day in school, maybe you see them every other weekend, okay? For a majority of you, right? And if you're not doing that, you can Snapchat each other, you can text each other, you can talk at any time, right? But there's gonna be a point in your life when you go on to college, okay? Or maybe you do something else with your time. And after that, you're gonna get a job, right? And after that, maybe you'll marry or maybe you won't. And maybe you'll have kids or maybe you won't. But either way, life gets busy. And you don't really understand how busy it gets until you leave, right? If you think it's busy now, multiply that by 10. And the time that you have for your friends decreases significantly. The amount of time that you have to spend on them and the amount of time that you have actually physically with them, okay? And that's why it's important during this time period to learn how to maintain your friendships. And that's why, in the end, Ray and I have been friends for so long, right? Because once you're also older, it's hard to make friends, right? Any of the teachers can probably tell you, once you reach your late 20s, okay, people actually actively have conversations about how do I make friends in my 20s, okay? It's not as easy as it sounds, right? And you might have realized by now, but this is not a talk where I'm talking about a girl named Inez, right? And the reason for that, okay, is because that relationship wasn't maintained, right? Honestly, our junior year, she fell off. She didn't call as much. She didn't text as much, right? And so that relationship slowly crumbled, okay? And then, inevitably, when Ray went off to college and Inez went off to college and they weren't together anymore every day, that relationship crumbled because that relationship also didn't have the input on a daily basis, right? And so that's what I want you to take away from today, right? That you learn what relationships you want to maintain and you learn how to maintain them, right? Because those other relationships that maybe you don't have in that kind of way, those become toxic. And that's what it became for us, right? If you're constantly putting effort into a relationship, right, that you don't have that same give and take back, right? That's when it becomes toxic, or one of those relationships that you guys have talked about in character ed. Right? So keep the relationship with the friends whom know you the best, right? The ones that know you inside and out, the ones that you feel really connected to, the ones that make you feel that you matter and that you're important in the world, and the ones who make you feel understood, and the ones that you feel like you can tell your secrets to, right? Because those are the ones that are the most important. Mr. Shin, next slide. And so I'm not gonna just leave you with, hey, you should maintain your friendships and like not give you any pointers. Now I am not perfect at this, okay, but I was going through and I was thinking, okay, what are the things that has made our relationship thrive? Our friendship last throughout the years of us not seeing each other, okay? And the first ones are no-brainers, but they're up there because you don't have to do them necessarily every single day. It's a given, right? So when in doubt, send a text or a Snapchat or whatever kind of thing you use to communicate, okay, about something small in your day, right? It helps them feel like they're part of your day, right? And it helps you guys have that kind of small talk that you would have on a daily basis, right? On the opposite end, though, okay, it can't just all be small texts and Snapchat, right? Call. If you don't call, email. If you don't email, because I know it's now, for your generation, archaic, send a voice memo. I don't really care how you do it, but have some kind of deeper conversation, right? And that means about how you're doing, right? Because as time goes on, you're gonna change. And they need to know who you are. And those are the deeper kind of conversations where that happens, right? And also, if it's all fluff and no substance, like, not to say what's the point, but kind of what's the point, right? Next one, just as you talk with them to let them know who you are, because you've changed, they're gonna change. Ray is not the same person that I met in 5th grade. I'm not the same person that she met in 5th grade, right? But part of what's been so great about our friendship is that she's allowed me to change into who I am and loved me throughout it all, and I've done the same for her, right? Next one, plan get-togethers, even if they're far and few and in between, okay? Full disclosure, I haven't seen Ray in about 3 to 4 years, okay? But we still get together when we can, and then that makes it really, really worth it, right? And when we do these other things, it allows us to just sink back into our old ways without things changing at all. And it just feels like you're putting on the same pair of jeans that you put on yesterday, right? Know the worth of your friendship. Your friends are gonna make other friends, especially once you're in college, especially once you leave here, okay? And it's really easy to get jealous and be like, oh, they talk to them every single day, but we only talk every, I don't know, few months, right? But if you know the worth of your friendship, you know that it's important and you know that it's valuable. And so therefore you don't self-sabotage, you don't do any of those toxic behaviors because you know that there's value there, right? And so allowing them to change, but also allowing them to grow in other friendships and recognizing where your place is in their life and being okay with that. And then lastly, this is a big one. Don't let the other person be the only initiator in your friendship, okay? Or if you're the only initiator in your friendship, do something to allow that to kind of be the opposite, okay? Or talk about it, right? This is one of the big things that makes a long-distance, long-term friendship become toxic, right? When the other person is putting in effort and it's not reciprocated, it inevitably gets resentful, right? It inevitably becomes bad, right? So value the effort that the other person puts in and try to put in the same amount, right? And the kind of friendships that last a lifetime, they don't just happen. They're not just magically there, okay? They might start magically, but they don't stay long-term magically. You have to put in the work, right? Just like any other friendship or relationship with your family or anything like that that you have, right? And at the end, what I would like to leave you with is when I was looking up all the different things that I wanted to tell you about Ray, I looked at her Instagram bio to see what she would say about herself, right? And one of the quotes is something that I would like to leave you with, because if you don't remember any of this and you don't remember anything that I said, it actually is the core foundation of actually everything here, right? And that's the noblest art is that of making other people happy, right? And that's by P.T. Barnum, which is kind of ironic since we live near Seaside, but whatever. If you don't know what I mean by that, P.T. Barnum was here. But, right, at the root of all of this, it's making the other person happy. It's valuing what they think. It's valuing what they need. And it's valuing their time, right? And valuing that so much that you do things on the opposite to make them happy. So yeah, that's about it. I know that you guys will do great as you move on to this next timeline in your friendships. Thank you.
Okay, please give Miss Shapiro another round of applause. I can attest to those vests and ties. It was a thing. Okay, so I do have a number of important announcements, so please make sure to pay attention. UB final exams. If you are a UB student and you have a final exam coming up, please make sure to report to the office when that exam is. Many times these exams happen while school is going on, so the office needs to know when you're going to be at the exam. So figure out when your exams are and report your exam schedule to the office so that we can mark you excused from the classes you are going to be missing. So that's very, very important, okay? The midterm exam here at BIA. So the midterm exam isn't this week, it's the following week, which is kind of crazy. You're going to be reviewing a lot this week. So next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you will be having 2 exams each morning, okay? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are all half days. So you'll have 2 exams in the morning and then you will go home. Now, if you have a class that does not have a midterm at a certain time, okay, you can come later or you can leave after your first exam. So if there's no exam during the first exam, you can come a little later. If you have only one exam that day, you can leave. We actually would like you to leave earlier because we do not want this school to be a hangout spot during that time, okay? But either way, you should check in with the office. So if you come for the second exam, check in with the office, say, I'm here, I'm present. If you leave early because you're done, check in with the office, say, I'm leaving, I took my exam, okay? There will be a study room over in the small assembly room that's set up for you to study between exams, okay? So you can go there and study. It's a quiet, study-focused rooms. It's not a hangout zone, okay? So we really, really want to encourage people, if you are done with your exams, please make sure to, check in with the office and go home, because we want, the school environment to be very test focused, okay? I hope that makes sense, okay? Your homeroom teachers will remind you of this throughout the week, and we will have the exam schedule posted in the hallway, and I'm sure the homeroom teachers, we can get them a copy as well. So if you don't know when your exams are, please either come to the office, check in the hall, or talk to your homeroom teachers, okay? Any questions about that? Fairly clear, yes. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, actually, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, so Monday will be the final kind of day to study for exams. Also, Monday during the PE Character Ed class, that'll be a school-wide study session, okay? So we will not have Character Ed or PE that Monday, and we will have a school-wide study session. Please stay tuned to where you are going to study, okay? We're making sure that you have a lot of time to study, guys, okay? Also, this is very, 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 very important. I need everyone to focus on this, okay? The 17th, okay, Friday the 17th is the backup snow day. Knock on wood, I don't think we're going to have any snow. But if Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, one of those days is a snow day where we have snow and we can't come in, then Friday is the backup. So you have to be aware of that in terms of your travel also, okay? Now, please keep that in mind, because I'm going to give an example of a student who had a snow day, then thought that they could just show up at the end of the week and do like all their tests. I forget exactly what happened, but anyway, it was kind of bonkers, okay? So please just keep an eye on our messages, keep an eye on all of that, because that's the backup day for snow, okay? Again, knock on wood, I hope that doesn't happen, but you should all be aware of that, okay? Any questions? Yes, Samir. No, thank you. If there is no snow, you do not come in on Friday, okay? If there is no snow, then after the 16th, you're done, you have a great vacation, and then, you're good. I'm not going to get into this, but we are discussing coming back from vacation right now and what that'll look like. So just be aware also in your travels. I'm sure many of you will be seeing family. You'll be traveling around. COVID is still a thing, okay? Omicron is going around. That's the new variant, okay? So please be careful, okay? Just be aware that, we are a small community, and your actions do impact other people, okay? So on your vacation, we don't want you to feel the weight of the world during the vacation, but just be aware of that and be careful, okay? And again, I'm not ready to talk on this, but we are as administration talking about what it will look like coming back to school, okay? So just look out for any notices and all of that. Okay, moving on. So everyone knows that from time to time we do drills in the school, right, to practice for different situations. We've done a fire drill, we've done a lockdown in place, right? We've done that. So I want to explain to you what the next drill might be. the full lockdown, okay? So the full lockdown drill is if there is a threat inside the building, okay? So if there is a threat inside the building, you will hear full lockdown is in place through the intercom. It is very, very important at that point that you listen to your teachers. The goal of a full lockdown is to stay out of sight of any threat that might be in the building, okay? So when you hear that, everyone should quietly get up, okay, and move to a certain location that your teachers will tell you, and to sit quietly. It is also very important that you shut off your phones, okay, or make sure that you're not on your phones, okay? There are different threat scenarios that you could get into, but for the drill, it is very important that you get up quietly, move away quietly, sit quietly, and wait for the threat to be over, okay, everyone? So I'm telling you how to do it. I'm not telling you if and when we're going to do it, but just put 2 and 2 together here, okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? Anyone have any questions? Okay. I have an announcement about community service. So we had someone from the local government come last week that has a really nice community service opportunity. They work with a lot of public schools and after-school programs with kids that can't go home right away. So their after-school programs run from 3:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. Now you wouldn't have to commit Monday through Friday, but you could commit to a couple of days a week or even 1 day a week. But basically you would go and you would help out one of the local public schools. For dorm students, most likely you would be assigned to Roosevelt School, which is right down the road, okay? So if you are interested, it's a great thing. I have a few posters that I will put up. What needs to happen if you are interested is you need to come talk to me, and I will put you on a list, and then the lady will come back and interview you, because there is a vetting process, and interview you and see if they want you as part of that program. It's a great way to get, of course, your community service hours, but it's also a really great way, to get something on your resume, on your college application that looks really good, okay? And it's also a great way to serve others. I mean, I hope that's your first, goal. But anyway, I'm going to put these up, okay? If you are interested, please let me know, and I'll try to get you connected to this lady, okay? Any questions about that? Okay, and then finally, science classes today. All of the science classes will happen in Spurgeon Hall. So if you have a science class, you are to be here in Spurgeon Hall. They will happen in Spurgeon Hall today. Okay, I know that was a lot of information. Any other questions? Okay, have a wonderful, dorm meeting. Sorry, one more. Dorm meeting today at 3:10. Don't be late. Okay, bye guys.